Content segments today were paid for by Stephanie Pratt team.
Well, education is a career path that can be daunting for many to consider.
But one local principal knew he could change the world through education, even if it's only in a little small way. Storyteller Sarah Lehman is here with his story.
Yeah, absolutely. So Christian Mahone has been the principal at Southside Elementary for 4 years now. Of course, he went through the renovation there, COVID, and then, of course, just starting a new job. It was a lot.
A lot.
But his perseverance hasn't gone unnoticed.
Good morning, Mr. Mahone.
Good morning, Ms. Blacker. How are you?
We're good.
Good morning, kindergarten. What's up, Lonzo? How you doing? The reason I wanted to become going to the principalship because I recognized as a classroom teacher, there was a lot of things that was essentially, out of my control in terms of like policy making and things of that nature that adversely affect students. So I recognized that I could sit on committees and I could do the work and things of that nature, but I recognized that as being a principal and really building the capacity of classroom teachers was really the route that I wanted to go towards, because I feel like if I could affect change on a larger scale and then, really grow my teachers, that could therefore in turn have a domino effect on the students, because at the end of the day, what we do every day is what's best for students. Are y'all behaving yourselves? You better make good choices. Making good choices. As cliche as it sounds, be the change that you want to see. And I knew often at times as a classroom teacher, I was just frustrated with systems, and I felt like I had reached my capacity in terms of the change I could make only in the role of a classroom teacher. And that's when I was like, I had to go into the principalship so I could be able to connect with folks at district level, but also, connect with the community at a larger scale. Prior to becoming Southside, like I shared, I was in Springfield, and at that point, I was ready to, I was an assistant principal, but I was ready to assume the principalship role. And one of my good fraternity brothers was like, bro, like there's this school in Champaign, a principal was just getting ready to retire. And he said, I think it is just for you. I said, why? He said, well, I know that you love elementary school. He said, you didn't really care for the middle school setting, but you did great there. But he said, not only is this elementary school, but it's also a school that is called Southside. So I said, I'm like, all right, bro, I get what you say. He said, you from the Southside Chicago, man? I'm like, I know. So I applied for the job. Everything was just like such a whirlwind. All right, guys, I was just popping in like I normally do, so it's nothing different, nothing new. I'll see you guys at lunch, okay? All right. Of course, coming to a new community, coming to a new school district, there's challenges in terms of understanding the landscape, understanding the capacity of the teachers, their strengths, areas of opportunities, and things of that nature. So the first few years, was just, they went back quickly, but it also grew me not only as an educator, but it also grew me as a human, as a man as well. So the experiences have been nothing but, fabulous. When I have a staff who genuinely cares about the well-being of not just, the students, but their colleagues as well. Being a product of CPS, that's a whole different, beast and an animal right there, so just understanding how different school systems work, being from CPS and then working in Galesburg, Illinois, then working in Springfield and working here. So I have these experiences, that from these different school districts that I was able to bring with me, to like essentially sharpen my tool sets, but also to be able to give, the people that I work with opportunities to also sharpen their tools and their toolbox as well. All right, give me a quiet wave. I just really want to just, dedicate and spend my time, to this building. It's definitely the students, working in the field of education is definitely extremely challenging, and it's not something for the faint of heart. And you really have to go into this with the mindset that you are working towards building the next generation of leaders. I want to hop in here.
Oh, yeah, please.
Go. Where you going? Which way you going? How you going over there? I'll come back around. You was first, right? All right, go for it. You can't teach a child unless they have a great relationship with you. It's about building those rapport. And if a student don't trust you, you're not tending to their social and emotional needs and things of that nature, then they won't get the best out of their education. Because oftentimes when we think about education, we're just focusing on, the academic piece, but I also think that it's important that we're working on that social piece as well, in that emotional piece, because if a child is not okay, then they can't receive the instruction from the teacher and they don't have that relationship. So it's really, building those kids up, helping them to see the value in themselves, helping them to see how important they are in terms of the greater school community, but also the effect that they will have in a potential future.
You making sight words? And do you have to find the letters to match that? How do you do it? You have to find the letters to match it? Is that what you do? Let me see that. Oh, that is what you do. Oh, okay. What is this? Oh, snap and build sight words. Okay. Well, keep at it, self.
Can we touch on a little bit of the importance of being a black male educator?
Yes. So I always have a hard time talking about this because I don't want it to appear as if, like any other educators that's not of color, are not important. They're just as important as well. Oftentimes, what I see just in my experience in education, that our black students, they get mislabeled because of a lack of understanding of their cultural background. It's a lack of that being culturally responsive and understanding how those communities work. So in turn, what typically tends to happen is that we have teachers who are not necessarily equipped with the skill sets to feed to the whole child, to pay attention to the whole child. So, and I recognize that often at times when you don't have someone in the classroom who looks like those students, and those students don't see someone that look like them, they're not afforded the opportunities for someone to see them, to understand the little things, I want to say the little things, the things that makes them tick, the things that makes them feel levels of success. So, as a black male educator, I couldn't help but to see, how students, but more particularly my black male students, just gravitate towards me. Even when I was teaching, I didn't have a lot of black male students who had fathers around, so it was really just them having a positive male figure to look up to affirm them about who they are as young men and eventually, and what their place in the world is. But even in addition to that, children aspire to be what they see, and when they see successes, they're looking at, athletes, they're looking at rappers and singers and things of that nature, but they don't see, a lot of black doctors and lawyers and teachers. So I think it's important, to be able to capitalize on that moment, but also to show the kids that, it takes work, it takes dedication, it takes discipline, and you don't get here to where I'm at, by fooling around, but by actually having a dedication to your craft and the place that you want to be in your life. So when the kids are able to see that and they feel that connection, they too say, okay, like, he did the same, he came from the same background I came from. He shares with me his stories, and if he can make it to this level of success, especially coming from Southside Chicago, where, I grew up in gang-infiltrated neighborhoods, and, and most people don't make it out from where I'm from. They don't go to undergrad. They don't pursue higher education. So when, they're historically been told that you can't do this, but they see someone who can do that, it just gives them that much like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And that's where I feel like I win at. I win. You have to be the change you want to see. So if you want your education to be fun, if you want this schooling experience to be something that that will positively affect you, then you should start thinking about how you can be the person that changed the way that schooling is, for not just yourself, but for your peers as well.
And what you reading, Ava? What book is it? Oh, Kitty Cat Plays Inside. All right. Hey, Adriana, you working on a story? Hey, Adriana, what's your story about?
I couldn't ask for a better, profession in terms of, working with students and building them up to be the best versions of themselves they can be.
All right, so he's been recognized on a higher level. He was actually invited to go on the Jennifer Hudson show back in November. They flew him out to LA. I wanted him to tell the story of how that all came about by himself. So I'm going to have that full video, that full clip over on our social media and over on our website for you all to check out.
Very cool. All right.